Again, hello. All right. My name is Arun Gupta. I work for Red Hat.
And my name is Xavier Coulon, and I also work for Red Hat, but I don't have Maven today. Today we are going to talk about how to be productive to build Java EE and HTML5 applications with Eclipse.
And as contrary to what other people think, how can you be productive? You can definitely be very productive with Java EE and HTML5 with Eclipse, and that's what we're going to walk you through here.
Okay, so let's get started. We are going to start with JBoss Developer Studio version 8, which is here.
What is JBoss Developer Studio?
Okay, so JBoss Developer Studio is like built on Eclipse. It's a set of plugins to be productive and to work with JBoss technology such as Java EE 7, Java EE 6, of course, server adapter, which lets you deploy on Wildfly, JBoss EAP. We also have plugins for Forge, for live reload, and yeah, many things like this.
So people don't have to download Eclipse and then say, I'm going to install plugins. This is a pre-packaged bundle for you.
Yes.
It gives you Eclipse and all the plugins, one nice download, everything packaged together.
Yes, exactly. You have either JBoss tools, which... Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can have your own Eclipse and then you install plugins, JBoss tools plugins, or you can just download JBoss Developer Studio and everything is packaged. You even have JBoss EAP with it. So it's faster to install and get started. So what we're going to do today, we are going to start with some existing database. We have H2 database running somewhere here in my terminal. We have these tables. We have a conference table, we have a session table, and we have this one-to-many relationship with conference and session. And we have a speaker table and a many-to-many relationship between session and speaker, because we have some speakers like Arun who does like many talks. So what we are going to do first, we are going to create a Maven project for our application. And I'm going to use an existing archetype, which will be Wildfly Java EE 7 web app blank archetype. So I'm going to give a name to my project.
So it's very easy and intuitive to create a simple Maven application. And this is out-of-the-box configuration.
Yep.
Nothing fancy done to the IDE itself.
Exactly. So what we have here, we have this project which is being imported. We have this pom.xml with many things inside, so easy to get started, especially things like dependencies management, where we provide you with many dependencies for Java EE 7, including tools and Hibernate. We have a compiler defined for Java 7 here, and already a few dependencies such as where is it? JPA, JAX-RS, and so on. So if you go to your properties here on your project, you see that you have project, where is it? Yeah, project facets. A few facets are already pre-checked for us.
And that is because you selected that particular archetype.
Yeah, and then we have these M3 WTP extensions that are going to analyze your archetype, your class path, and going to set up every facet you need for your project.
Now, one of the things that Eclipse generally is not very well known for is great Maven support. And in this case, if you download JBoss Developer Studio, it comes with all the plugins that are required to make that happen and clean and seamless. So that's where you provide a seamless experience using Maven, at least as part of JBoss Developer Studio.
Yeah. Okay, so now we also have this thing in Hibernate perspective. We have this conference configuration, which has been set up for us when we created this project. And what we can see is that we cannot connect to this database right now. I'm going to explain why. If we come back here and we look at this persistent XML file, we see that we have something like this. So obviously this is something Eclipse cannot use to connect to a database. And by the way, I'm going to make a few changes just now so I don't forget later, otherwise we'll get some funny stuff. I'm going to do this right now. Okay, so Now, what we can do is use this data source explorer. I already have something set up here, which is a database connection to my H2 server running here in my terminal.
So this is not the H2 database that runs as part of in-memory database. It's a separate server running, and it happens to be H2, could be any JDBC compliant database.
Exactly, but we took H2 for this demo. And so we have access to schema, catalog, schema, and we see that we have a few tables here, which are the tables I just showed you earlier. So what we can do here in this project, we can help Eclipse and Hibernate tools in particular, and we're going to say that as far as JPA is concerned, we're going to use this existing connection. Okay, so this is, yeah, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so now our project is bound to this existing connection. I'm going to go back to a Hibernate perspective, and I need to rebuild my configuration. And now I can connect to my database, and I can get access to my tables. So, since this is done, what we can do now is use JPA tools. So we're going to use Hibernate tools, and we're going to generate entities from the tables. I'm going to give my a package for the entities. So it's going to be examples, conferences, domain.
So you're taking existing database tables, generating JPA entities from that, and underlying implementation is Hibernate in this case.
Yes, exactly. And so we have the three entities, conference, session, and speaker. And what we can see is in this conference we have get sessions, which is a one-to-many relationship with sessions. And in sessions we have this speaker. No, okay, let me just go back. Get speakers, this is where the annotation is. And we have this many-to-many relationship with a join table. So Hibernate Tools was able to make the entities as we wanted to, like one-to-many, many-to-many relationships, because it was able to look at foreign keys and understand the model behind.
So it understands all of that complex relationship that is defined in your database, possibly by your DBA, and generate the right JPA entities for you automatically.
Yes, exactly. So now let's carry on, and from these entities, what we can do is make some REST endpoints for later, for just the next step, which will be making a UI.
So now in this case, you're taking a database table, generating JPA entities from that, but what we could also do, for example, we could, like in Java EE 7 allows you to generate a database table from a JPA entity. So let's say I don't have any database in the backend, I can take a persistence.xml, specify my schema generation properties over there, and then say, you deploy that application, that will automatically generate the database. So in this case, my H2 database, it will generate the database schema over there, or generate my SQL scripts. So that support is already there in JBoss Developer Studio.
Yes, true. Okay, so what we're going to do now is generate REST endpoints. And so we are going to use Forge for this. So Forge has a set of wizards with Forge 2.
Well, what is Forge, first of all?
Okay, Forge is like, initially it was a command line tooling. It's still a command line based tool to generate your project incrementally. So this is different from using Maven archetypes. Maven archetypes, you choose an archetype, so you have to look for your archetype and say, okay, I want to use this one because it's almost what I need. You get this archetype, and then you say, okay, I need to add more things, I need to remove some stuff because, in fact, I don't need them. Forge is the opposite. It's like you start from scratch and you say, you really build your application like you pick everything you need, and you have many plugins. You can make your own plugins as well. And so you're going to build your project as you need.
So you're basically going from the domain perspective that I want to add persistence. You go figure out what the Maven dependencies are. I want to add entities.
Yep.
You go figure out what the code is generated. And that is again done in a very IDE agnostic way.
Yep.
We just happen to have a Forge integration in JBoss Developer Studio.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're going to set up REST, and we're going to create this REST application class, which is our REST JAX-RS activator. And I'm going to change my package here and use conferences. So this is the first thing we do. So we have our class created here. And now I'm going to create my endpoint from the 3 entities that we have.
So you said this is a command line tool, but that integration works very seamlessly at the JBoss Developer Studio level as well.
Yeah, we have all these wizards matching everything you would do with command line. Now we also provide you with wizard-based wizard. So I'm going to select everything here. I'm going to expose DTOs for JPA because, well, it will avoid some corner case like you have this conference and you get all sessions, and when you want to serialize everything, if you have some cycles, you're going to end up with some Stack Overflows. So let's go with DTOs for this thing. I'm going to change my package here as well. And hit enter and call Forge. So Forge just run behind, and now we have everything here. We have our endpoints. So all this code has been generated by Forge. And what we can see here in this JAX-RS Web Services node is that we have many endpoints just created for us.
So this is a very portable code using standard JPA APIs, Hibernate in the backend, with JAX-RS and REST easy in the backend for us.
Yes, exactly. But we don't use any vendor-specific API here. Our annotation is full Java EE compliant API.
So this is Java EE 7 compliant in this case?
Yes. Okay, so what we can do from this endpoint, for example, we can maybe test it. So I'm going to run this endpoint on a server. I'm going to use Wildfly. So what's going to happen? I've got this Wildfly started here. My project is going to be deployed. And I've got this web service tester, which is a view just got open for us. And I'm going to run this thing. And since we have this ID template parameter, I'm going to set a value, which should be 1.
So that's kind of nice because it automatically shows you what the default values can come over there.
Yes.
So to me, this is more like a Postman extension client that I use in my Chrome browser, but now it's a lot more seamlessly integrated right in the IDE itself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's integrated, and it will be even more integrated in the next release. And so, yeah, we could call this URL, and we got this thing as a result. Okay, so let's carry on. I'm going to. So what we can do now and play a bit with JAX-RS. So I'm going to copy a few things here. A few classes that I'm going to import, and we are going to look at them right now. So what I just, so I'm going to remove this. We don't need it anymore. So we have this logger producer, which is CDI producer. It's going to produce us with a logger. We have this logging interceptor, which is JAX-RS2 interceptor, reader and writer interceptor. What we want to do with it, as its name suggests, we want to log incoming requests and outgoing responses. So this is like not really interesting code. We're doing like stream manipulation. What I want to show you here is that we have this @inject for annotation for this logger. And what we have with our tooling, CDI tooling, is this navigation, because the tooling understands your model, and so you can navigate from producer to injection point and back.
So it's not just like a Bean is implementing an interface, but it even understands the producer's design pattern and figures out what particular Bean is getting injected.
Yes, exactly.
So the dynamic injection is automatically resolved in the tool.
Yes, so we know, and we can provide you with warnings. So if I put this, if I comment this thing, we'll get a warning here because there is no producer for this logger. So let me just fix it now. And last thing I want to show here is we have this annotation. I'm going to make it a name, a name binding annotation, but it doesn't work. We need to add a few other annotations. We need to specify retention and target for this kind of thing. So this is part of what JAX-RS tooling provides you with. So we can help you with this kind of tiny problems.
And so those were just the wizards that were available in Eclipse, that you need to add these additional elements in there.
Yeah.
So that's coming to the title of our talk, being productive. it automatically recognizes what needs to be added and it gives you hints for that.
Yeah, because this is, well, we do more than this, but this is a kind of typical problem you can get as a developer. You forget to put this annotation and then you say, oh, why doesn't it work on runtime?
Right.
So now we have this logger interceptor. Let's say I want to put something here on my conference endpoint. And so if we don't use any name binding annotation with JAX-RS, everything is going to be logged. Maybe we don't want this. We want only everything around conference. So I'm going to use this annotation. I'm going to put it here. And then I get another error because there is no interceptor or filter associated with this annotation. So let me fix that. And now if I do something like this, if I set this annotation, my problem is going to be resolved here. And what we also have, just as we had navigation with CDI, we also have navigation with name binding. So we can go from the interceptor to the endpoint. And
the actual implementation of the interceptor itself.
Yeah, so we know how things are bound together. And actually, if I'm going to republish my application. Okay, application has been published. Let's just call this again. So I'm going to skip this thing. Okay, so if I now set my value again. Okay, so I got some logs here.
So the same result, but now that the logging interceptor is interjected, I'm actually starting to see the log statements, and those are coming from the loggers that we talked about.
Exactly. And now if I do the same thing with sessions, I see some logs which are SQL logs generated by Hibernate, but I didn't see anything like this, which was coming from my interceptor. So just showing how it works with interceptors and bindings. Okay, cool. Next thing we're going to do now, so we have these JP entities, we have these REST endpoints, and now we should probably have some UI to play with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to use Forge again, and we're going to generate a UI. So we're going to do what is called in Forge language, vocabulary, terminology, scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
So we are going to use Angular. We could have something with JSF, but let's go with Angular.
And one of the cool things about Forge itself is, by default, it provides scaffolding with AngularJS, but by no means is it restricted to that. You can write your own plugins very easy and provide scaffolding for other toolkits, for other JavaScript toolkits or other Java toolkits for that sake.
Exactly. Yeah, this is really extensible. So we are going to scaffold to make UIs for all our three entities. And it should be all available here now. Yeah, we have everything. So we could probably have a look at what we have as a result. Let me just hide everything here. I'm going to redeploy my application just to be sure. And what we can show now is how our application works. So we have this browser sim thing, which is like a simulator for mobile browsers. If you want to test your application in mobile, what we provide you with is this browser sim.
Sim being browser simulator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not an emulator, just a simulator.
Simulator, yeah.
Yeah. But you can select different kind of devices, so you can have a specific screen size with user agents. And so you can see if your application is responsive as you would expect. Now I want to show you something else, or something even cooler, which is using live reload server. So we are going to use the same thing, but this time we're not going to connect browser sim to port 8080. We are going to connect this browser sim to this live reload server running here. So who knows about live reload? Okay, just a few people. So live reload is an extension that you can install in your browser, and it's going to help you refresh, to avoid you refreshing your application. So basically, here's how it works with browser sim. your browser is going to connect to this live reload server, which is going to act as a proxy for your application server running behind, or running here, just here. So what's going to happen is when your browser requests an HTML page, as a return, your HTML page is going to be modified by live reload, and live reload is going to include a JavaScript tag. And this script tag is going to load a live reload.js file. Then what's going to happen here in your browser, you're going to have a WebSocket connection opened with this live reload server. So this live reload server can then communicate with your browser. Then, when you make some changes in your workspace, or if you so like static files, if you do some static HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript pages, but it will also work with assets that you deploy on your application server. So each time you make something like deploying, we get Eclipse is notified that something got deployed. Live reload, which is running inside Eclipse, uses this WebSocket connection and sends a command to your browser, and your browser is going to refresh your page.
And this is not really tied to a browser. It could be any browser for that sake.
Yes, exactly. So the thing we do is we make this like script injection in your page, so it works with any browser. You could have this live reload and extension installed in your Chrome or in your Firefox browser, but it doesn't work with Internet Explorer, I think.
So yeah, this is like unlike other IDEs which are stuck with just one browser and they just provide only support for one browser. This is really browser agnostic and works across multiple browsers.
Yes, and we can do even more than this. We can do something with external devices. So I can do the same thing. You're going to get a warning because you're going to allow for external connection to your machine. So basically, you're exposing your workspace. But then you get this QR code here, and you can use your phone or tablet or smartphone or tablet. You scan this code, and you get this connection to your live reload server running on your machine. So you need to be on the same Wi-Fi connection.
So in that case, my development cycle really goes from edit, save, and in the browser, there is no need to even refresh.
Yes.
It's automatically refreshed.
Exactly. And then what you can do is you get this application running on like multiple devices at once. So you could have something like iOS, Android, Firefox OS, and whatever. And then you make some changes, and it's going to be refreshed on all devices at once. And I'm going to show you here with just this browser sim. So we get this conference page, and if we go here for Devox, we see that we have a list of sessions that I have in my database. We have this session with ID 2, which is not very useful. So I'm going to make a change here. So in my views here for conference, I get this detail page, which is what we are seeing. And what we can see is that we're going to display this s.text for every item in sessions selection list. So let me just go in the script here, controllers, edit conference controller. And we have this session selection list here. And text is the ID of the item we received. I'm going to change it with name, which is the name of the session. I just need to save, and it gets refreshed. And so you will have the same thing working with multiple devices at once.
So whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Safari, browser, simulator, all of that just works out of the box. And even on your device as well.
Yeah, mobile devices as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I think pretty cool.
Okay, so we have just a few minutes left. So what we can do now probably is go on Openshift.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So we are going to select this project.
So in this case, for example, you have your Wildfly instance running on your local machine.
Yeah.
Now, what if you want to share this URL with a friend that, hey, my application is running, take a look at it over there. Or you don't want to test it on your local machine, you want to test it in a cloud environment. Exactly. That's what you would go to Openshift.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to configure using this new import open application.
Well, before that, so Openshift is a Red Hat's open source PaaS platform. Anybody can go to openshift.com, sign up for a free account over there, and there you get 3 gears free, no time bombing. As part of those 3 gears, what you get is half gig of memory, 1 gig of disk space, and then you can keep them forever. In that half gig, you can very easily run, for example, a Wildfly instance, a Jenkins instance, and if you want to run, a MySQL or a H2 database, all those 3 instances can run forever. I mean, there is no time bombing over there.
Yeah. So I'm going to use this Wildfly cartridge. I'm going to use this name conferences as my Openshift application name. And I'm not going to create a new project here on my workspace because I'm going to use this existing one, conferences. And I just need to hit finish. So what's going to happen here, JBoss Tools is using this OpenShift Java client. We're going to connect to OpenShift. And on OpenShift, we send a request to the broker, OpenShift broker, and it's going to select a node. So it's like a big virtual machine. And on this node is going to create what we call OpenShift gear. And inside this gear, we are going to have Java installed for us, Wildfly, Git repository, which is going to be initialized for us. Everything is going to be started. And, well, usually it takes like just a few minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, the application itself is created rather rapidly, literally in about 10 seconds or 15 to 30 seconds. But what takes time, if you look behind the scene, is really the DNS name propagation.
Yes, exactly.
That's where most of the time is spent. Want to make sure that everything is propagated.
Yeah.
So from Eclipse, you could run it on your local server, or you can just say, no, I just want to change it to OpenShift, and you can say run on server on that OpenShift server.
Yes, I'm going to show you. We'll have this server adapter here. Okay, let's just wait a few seconds, and then maybe we'll...
And you can see the progress in the back end as well. It's showing that it's installing cartridges.
Yeah.
It doesn't show. Well, that's probably a bug, because we need to see a little bit more status over there.
Okay, so we got our application created here with a password. I guess everyone's had time to see it. And now we are going to clone this existing Git repository on our machine. I'm just going to make... okay. So what we have here, customize view, I'm going to set this thing. We have here access to our Wildfly configuration file, which is going to run on OpenShift.
So this is a standalone Wildfly configuration file that is on OpenShift for us.
Yeah.
So you can make a change to the Wildfly configuration in your IDE once again.
Yep.
And then say, what would you do after you make the change?
Yep. And now we can publish, and I'm going just to commit and publish, and our application is going to move to OpenShift, just as we make a Git push on OpenShift.
No, that's pretty seamless, actually. Within the IDE itself, you can do all of that.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should move back to the slide, and we can go back here later in a few seconds. So let's just have a conclusion, because we have only a few minutes left. So what we showed you quickly was how we can do JPA reverse engineering. We have some JAX-RS tooling, some CDI tooling, Forge integration, and OpenShift integration. This was a very quick overview. We have much more behind, but well, it was a tools in action, like 30 minutes. So if you want to get in touch with us, we have a website, we're on Twitter, we're on IRC, and we have a mailing list, which is open to everyone. It's jboss-tools-dev, but anyone can use it. We have this community acceptance testing. Maybe you can talk about it.
Sure, yeah. This is basically was inspired by Netcat. When I was at Sun and on Oracle, we used to run this program called as Netcat, primarily by the NetBeans team. And we followed this for Glassfish as well, called as FishCat. So the idea over here is JBoss Developer Studio, and Red Hat by nature itself, everything is open source. You can check out everything. If it's not, it will be. So you can check out, build the stuff yourself. But with JBoss Tools community acceptance testing, the idea is, we are releasing interim builds, and we are exactly specifying what's there in the interim build. And every couple of weeks, or every 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, you can download that build, give us early feedback, help us decide, is the build ready to go for publishing or releasing? And if it's not, then file bugs on that. So now that way there is some incentive for you that your bug will get fixed. And there are some recognition that we also do on the JBoss Tools website as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some related talks, like Kuhn, who is here, is going to give university tomorrow with Antonio and Ivan about Forge. And Antoine is going to talk about CDI, and Arun is going to give more talks. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any question, we have like 1 minute left.
Or you can always ping us on this Twitter ID and use whatever tag. If you use our Twitter ID, we'll get back to you with your answers.
Yeah, and we'll be there during the whole week. So.
The question is that you are using Java EE 7. Do you do that for Java EE 6 as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because right now we are using Wildfly. I mean, if you recall, none of the features were really Java EE 7 specific. We happen to be using Wildfly, but this demo would work on JBoss EAP as well, because that's Java EE 6 compliant.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, all our customers really use JBoss Tools, which is a bunch of Eclipse plugins, and the customers are using JBoss EAP in that sense. No, with Java EE 7, so the question is, do you have to start with XML and then go to entities? Can you start with entities? With Java EE 7, there is a new feature that is added to JPA, which is called a schema generation properties. So if you are a Java guy, you design your JPA entities, and then in your persistence.xml, you specify those schema generation properties. It will look at your JPA entity. From there, it can do two things. One, it can generate either a SQL file, by which you know, okay, this is my SQL file, then you can tune it and then generate your database, or you can directly say, just generate the database directly as it is. So those options are possible in a Java EE 7 compliant application. You can certainly go in persistence.xml in JBoss Developer Studio and edit those properties. There's a RFE that I've already filed that those properties should automatically be recognized if it's a Java EE 7 compliant application. So in that sense, JBoss Developer Studio will offer you some help in editing those properties.
Okay.
Okay, time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.